What is up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about blade baits. Nice one on the blade. Oh, tail fish. Waking up on that blade bait, baby. Wake up the echoes. So, opening this package of blade baits, we can see here, and I dumped them out unceremoniously, but we can see here what they've got are these hologram style looking blade baits. You've got a belly weight, a nose weight, then you got your blade. As always with handing, you've got those Mustad Ultra Point treble hooks. You've got nice quality Mustad clips up on top here. So we've got that shad looking one. We've got 5 different ones. And for 17 bucks, you can't really beat it, right? A package. You got rainbow trout matte. I like that color a lot. You got blueback herring. In my opinion, that's what it kind of looks like, blueback. So blueback herring here, and I did a ton of underwater film on these before I got them out. So there's blueback herring, and then you've got white bass, also going to be a killer right here for you if you've got any whites around you. And then finally, probably my favorite one is going to be perch. And it's not a holographic perch, it's a matte perch. And that is going to be huge in terms of perch eaters, because up here in the Great Lakes region, we have a ton of northern, a ton of pike, a ton of muskie, a ton of bass that are perch eaters this time of year. So there's the colors on all of those baits right there. Let's get some underwater footage. So going underwater here, you have to consider blade baits to be a pure reaction bait and one of the best cold water baits ever invented. You fish a blade bait, throw it out, let it fall to the bottom. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that rod from about 7 to 12 and you're going to hop that bait off the bottom so you feel a dun 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 dun, which is the blade moving. That then generates a reaction bite from bass. So really slowing it down here, you can see when that blade engages on the lift, it thumps back and forth, and it becomes a pretty good thump back and forth, if you will. Really slowing it down here, you can see most of the bites from a blade are going to be fish pinning it to the bottom. They're going to see it hopping along. They're bottom related in the wintertime, so hard spots, areas like that. They're going to come up, watch that bait flicker, and as that bait falls, they're either going to inhale it or they're going to pin it on the bottom. Most of the times when I catch fish on blades, there's grass in their mouth because what has happened is they've pinned that bait to the bottom or they've inhaled it as it just starts to rise up from the bottom. This is a bottom contact bait, so I want to fish this bait in short hops. Blades that react instantly and give you a good thump are going to be drastically important. Now, looking at the colors, that silver one, clean, can be fished anywhere. This white bass is going to be really good around shoaling fish, around areas where white bass early in the spring are pushing in. Late in the winter, white bass suspend over deep areas of cover. If you can fish this bait through those deep areas, you're going to catch a lot of fish. Simply put, you can straight wind it for that rattle trap feel. You can hop it up and down on the bottom. Here you've got a pretty good example of what that bait looks like at speed. You can see why it is a reaction bait. Now I'm fishing it pretty aggressively here. In the winter, you can slow down this and really pause and really let fish have time to consider it. It's one of those things where you've got to figure out the cadence of what fish want. The warmer the water, the higher I'm going to hop that blade. The colder the water, the lower I'm going to fish it. And one of the things that I found fishing for trout and salmon up in the Great Lakes, sometimes just slow winding it along on the bottom like this is one of the best ways to get bit. If those fish are relating to the bottom, a bait on contact on the bottom here is a great way to get bit. Walleye, gravel lizards sit in this gravel type substrate and bottom. If you can hop a bait and get it going through the bottom substrate like this, it's going to get bit. It's only a matter of finding locations where fish are. Now you can see here, these baits look really, really, really good hitting and contacting the bottom. That's where they shine, on that bottom substrate where you can find rock, sand, and gravel. That's where fish are going to sit in the winter. Fish these on deep structure, fish them on deep elongated points in deep wintering areas. You're gonna catch fish. They're simply a great bait to give. So when I'm fishing a blade bait, I want to know and understand that bottom contact is key. I want to throw these baits out, let them hit the bottom, and then what I'm going to do is take my rod slowly from, let's say, 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and then let that bait fall. 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And what I'm doing is I'm short happing this bait back to the boat. And I do that because in the winter, in the cold, when the blade bait shines, fish are glued to the bottom. They're on the bottom, and what this is doing is it's presenting a pattern that is a reaction bite, but also it's meeting the fish where they're at. Those fish are glued to the bottom when the blade bait is key. These baits are going to be great up off the pier heads for steelhead and coho. These are baits that you can throw a long way, being a ½ ounce, but what you're going to do is you're going to cover a lot of water hopping these baits up and down. Let's kind of go through the color patterns and what I like here. First one, that perch color, this is going to play a lot everywhere in the northern part of the U.S. where there is perch, because in the Great Lakes, the perch come in great numbers to the pier heads. This is going to be a good bait for steelhead, coho, things like that are in those shallow waters. Big browns, hens out there are going to chew this bait up. And nice hops, nice drags. You can also slow wind this, let it hit on the bottom, kind of grind its way through there. Good color. Next up, white bass. I live on a bunch of lakes that have a lot of white bass on them, and white bass are schoolers. They tend to get chewed when this lure is going to shine in the spring, late winter time when those white bass start to move. If you can find schools of white bass, they'll be predator fish not far away. That white is going to shine there. In terms of pike musky baits, this rainbow trout colored bait with a red on the sides is really going to work well on those toothy critters. That red and orange and yellow on the belly seems to call to those fish this time of year. It also is, you know, one of those baits in the color of bait where you can really hop it along the bottom or vertically jig it up and down, and those fish are going to inhale it. Thing that I like about this blade is the fact that it's got that fish-esque profile and look to it, which really aids that bite. And then you got, you know, that pro blue color, and you've got that threadfin alewife color shad, that green and that blue. These are just really good looking baits that are going to be your all around clear water baits that play no matter where you're at. That hologram silver looking shad is cool. This green blue threadfin is going to be great. This is going to be a cool striper lure. Cool off the pier heads too when they're eating those glass minnows. Blade baits are really just going to be quality type baits to throw in different situations. It's all about bottom contact with the blade. It's a great way to catch fish. The baits so far from Handing have really impressed me, guys. To harp on it a lot, these baits have really impressed me. They're bang for your buck. Here at the channel, we really believe in not maxing out your pocketbook to get quality stuff. If you can get quality stuff and find it, get it, right? Use it, fish it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But the cool thing about this, all the components, stat, are good to go. All of the baits, good to go. And we are going to catch a lot of fish on these guys. If you guys like what's going on the channel right now, give us a like, subscribe, comment what you want to see in the future. If there are specific baits that you would like to see, let us know what those are so we can get those. Go to our links at Omnia. Help us out there. It allows us to get more baits and do more things on the channel, guys. I want to thank you for hanging out with us today. Fish some blade baits. Fall into winter transition. Blade bait bite is going to turn on any day now. We'll see you guys out there on the water.